I'm retro. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Claude Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter alongside Jim Hicks. He's backstage right now. He had got to put on his brim or something, but he will be in the he'll be in the feed in just a second. But like I said, the best 120 minutes of your day. And guess what? We're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And Barry, we had a mistake yesterday. What happened yesterday, y'all? I played a commercial, whatever, and during the break. Evidently, I played some that that Facebook didn't like or had rights to or something. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not going to play anything that I played yesterday again. But that's what happened yesterday. But let me see who my starting five. Let me check my starting five up right now. Rod Wells, Tyandra Holmes, Rick Brown, Derek Johnson, and Chris Charles. And in the sixth man is Anissa Ville. And the seventh person is Daryl Anderson. I know Daryl gonna get mad if I didn't call his name out. But Jimmy back. I see Jimmy back over there. But got a great day in sports. Jimmy, unique. The Dodgers. Y'all hold up. The Dodgers backing up the Brinks truck for Mookie Betts, y'all. Mookie Betts extension with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm starting off with baseball today, y'all. I'm sorry. 12-year extension, Jimmy, for $365 million. Jimmy, let me tell you something. That's rare air. My reaction was, wow, given the pandemic and the financial questions that were raised during the negotiations between the owners and the players in Major League Baseball, Jimmy, they was going back and forth. The owners were saying we were poor, we ain't got no money. We heard that foolishness from the owners. They said, but Jimmy, the minute the thing got settled, the Dodgers tore their ACLs trying to get to the bank to pay Mookie Betts. I said Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Betts that money. But Jimmy, it's unique now. The owners crying poverty And I just didn't understand that. They sounded like they were standing on the street corner, asking for spare change. The owners, give me a break. Let me tell you something. Money coming out, young folks getting paid around the world of sports. And guess what, y'all? I never thought I would see a day that I look up and see a Major League Baseball star sign a multi-year $1 million deal, and he said, well, it's not quite NFL quarterback money, but it'll do for me. So I think it was a unique thing, Jimmy. I mean, Mookie Blaylock, a excellent bowler. I got a chance to meet him. He came out and bowled in Chris Paul had a bowling tournament. He brought out Terrell Owens, a lot of guys out, and Mookie Blaylock won the tournament. But I didn't know. I mean, Mookie Betts, I'm sorry. Mookie Betts won the tournament, and it's just, hey, man, it's a great day. I'm glad to see the young fella got that bread. What else you got, Jimmy?
Well, one of the things you mentioned, Mookie Betts, his $365 million deal for 12 years. Don't forget, Garrett Cole, the Astros pitcher, just signed for 300 and about 45 over 9 years with the Yankees just this year. Also, another player with Houston ties, Rendon, the kid from Lamar High School, the VP of the World Series.
Rendon.
Right?
Yeah.
Rendon. He just signed 245. So, but understand, Mookie Betts was asked, the ask for Betts was about 400 mil had he in Boston. That was the ask. And so people in Boston are losing their freaking minds right now. They're going bonkers. How could you, they just signed him for less than what we could have kept him for.
$5 million? $5 million?
They're not understanding this. Mookie is from California. I just wish he would just, in due time, he's the type of guy that will just come out and just say it. I want to come home. And so people don't get it.
Jimmy, I want to get the hell out of Boston.
I'm just saying. See, understand, this is what this does. It proves, as I said before, and if you're a first-time viewer on the Chop Shop, welcome you guys to it. The show is not your ordinary type of sports talk show, but because we go through boundaries, there is no chalk on the field. There's no out of bounds. We just know how to run in the middle of the freeway or run in the street and get hit by a car. But ain't no out of bounds. Back in the days for those of you who played tackle in the grass, touching the street, right. Back in the day, we tackle in the street sometimes. If you watched this 2 days ago, you saw it yourself. And so now, but for white people, my beloved white people, Boston is the white Atlanta for the 20-year-old, the middle-aged person. The middle-aged person, black person that lives in Atlanta, that's, if they don't understand, so we have to understand.
Now, Boston, Jimmy, you don't have to beat around the bush. Boston is a white town.
No, well, it's more than a white town. They got some, when I say white Atlanta, I mean the party scene, the colleges, the amount of colleges that are located in that area.
Bill Russell said that's the worst city in the world.
Yes, for him. For Bill Russell, that's what exactly. So a white person get to Atlanta and say, "Man, I don't like it here."
But Mookie Betts is black. Mookie Betts is black.
Exactly. Yes. So Mookie Betts going to get the hell up out of there. And that's my point, Hatter. Boston is the white Atlanta. So for white people, they would say, "How can you not love Atlanta? I mean, love Boston." Just like a black person can say to a white person, "Man, Atlanta got it going on. How the hell can you not like Atlanta?" They understand the different cultures.
It's some white people love Atlanta.
Why would Mookie want to leave Boston? That person, that's a sign. If somebody has to ask that and they really don't understand, that letting you know that that person really don't understand the culture. It was time. Yeah. Mookie had served his time there. He won an MVP there in Boston. Understand, and his manager, that he went through a couple of managers, he's gone. So and they just got to deal with it. Ain't the first, ain't the last. Hell, I mean, especially Boston. Think about all the players that they've lost and that they've understand and that they've accumulated and swapped them. I mean, this goes all the way back to Babe Ruth. This ain't Babe Ruth played in Boston before he went to New York to the Yankees.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's this funny thing. It's just funny to me. But understand, lastly, about this money, Mookie, don't get it twisted. When you mentioned about the money and the owners, this pandemic is gonna shrink the kitty for the next year. He knows that.
Baseball don't have no salary cap, Jimmy.
They don't have no salary cap, but the kitty, as far as the kitty,
but them
is
owners know,
strong.
but they know they can make money down the road. They know owners that this contract had to say, I know I'm gonna make this back down the road. And it's the LA Dodgers, man. That's one of the richer franchises, Jimmy, out there. They're backed up by the Guggenheim brothers, who prints money.
Say, guess what the Dodgers have done?
Huh?
The Dodgers
Go.
have made history. In this decade, they've paid 3 black men, outfielders, over
a bill.
What? Probably no, not $1 billion. I would say about 6.
Who they played? They paid you.
Matt Kemp,
Yes,
and Carl Crawford.
Okay.
Carl Crawford.
Okay.
They paid them collectively probably that's about $600-700 million for 3 outfielders. No 3 black outfielders on the same program has never got that much money in the history of baseball. So
and Jimmy, that's the richest contract of a black player in the Major League Baseball.
No. Is it?
Yes.
Per
Black
year?
Player, ain't no black player got no $300 million.
No, I'm
at one time. I'm talking about at one time.
Well, he guaranteed 60 or 65.
No, Jimmy. He guaranteed all of it. He just got 65 up front. He guaranteed all of it.
That's the bank.
Yeah. I looked at it a little bit.
The highest paid this year is Cecil Fielder's son up in Milwaukee. Now he's going to be the highest paid this year.
You got to realize, Mookie signed an extension, Jimmy. His don't kick in to next year. He signed the year because he got another year left. He signed an extension. So he going to be with them for 13 years. That's an extension. He didn't sign he wasn't a free agent. He signed an extension. He had 1 year left. So he'll be all right. Hey, I think he'll be all right. LA, Jimmy, imagine being 27 years old, young black brother in LA. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say.
So that pretty much take us through our first segment. We got to go to a quick break. Come right back on the Chop Shop and chop it up. Guess what? We might open up the phone lines for you guys again. That was kind of cool yesterday. Open up the phone lines, talk a little bit, and just.
And Jimmy, I got something I want to share with you too. When we get back, some up your wheelhouse. I want when we get back. Okay, Chop Shop. We'll be back in a minute. I got something for you.
Yeah, I'll start by saying we've been very proactive with our conversations and phone calls. We actually did a Zoom call with Breonna Taylor's mother a few days ago to get more information on everything that's going on, everything that's happened. I want to go on the record saying that Daniel Cameron is in position to arrest the cops who were responsible for killing Breonna Taylor and still has not done that. So he's the one who's in position to potentially do that. So we want to continue to uplift people like Breonna Taylor who are victims and haven't received the proper justice that they are due. In terms of the other parts of your question, I think basketball is secondary. It's our job. Obviously, we have a responsibility to fulfill those obligations, but it's also our job to fulfill and protect our neighborhoods and protect the people that look like us and come from places like us and don't exactly have the same voices that we do. So I think that's something that's been on all of our minds. We've been very proactive about it. And me, a person who's big on education and education reform, I've continued to try to have those conversations with like-minded people who care about education so we can continue to figure out ways to collectively make an impact and make a change. But there are people who are involved in prison reform. There are people who are involved in police reform and so many other different things that are more so up their alley. We continue to try to have those discussions, conversations, and the biggest thing for us is education. We want to be educated on the matters you're speaking on and really have a passion and make sure that it's a point of focus for you individually.
I told my teammates, fun fact of the day, your chance of being 7 feet is 1 in 2 million. To see 3 7-footers,
We got footers.
3 7-footers, and baby cold tubs, Disney is a magical place. Magic really do happen. Magical. This is better than the ending of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, we're Disney, bro.
We're in this. It's magical.
Where the unicorns at?
What are the
We
chances?
got 3 unicorns.
3.
Yeah, we're in Disney, magic.
That's 6 million people that did that was 7 feet.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour. The best 120 minutes of your day. Moving right along on this baby Friday. That's what we call Thursdays on the Chop Shop. Shout out to everybody out there. Make sure this is the time right now. If you're on the Facebook feed, how about if you share the show right now? Let's share this show and end this week with a good bang on a good note. Meanwhile, as a favor, to return the favor, how about if we open up the phone lines for you guys? 832-264-1500. 832-264-1500. That's the hotline directly into the boom boom room, or to the Chop Shop, that is. Give us a call and share your thoughts going into the weekend. And of course, if you missed the last segment, Major League Baseball officially starts today.
Okay.
First game of the season. There's only 2 games on the calendar. The Yankees at the Washington Nationals, the Nats, and the Giants are playing at the Dodgers. That's tonight. The Astros will play on Friday, and they will host the Seattle Mariners. And that's an 8 o'clock pitch. And of course, Justin Verlander is on the mound. Remember, had the season started in its original slate, Verlander would have been on the disabled list for the Astros. So Verlander is back on the mound, and we'll see. And the Astros, according to Vegas Hatter, they're 11-1 to win the World Series this year. Only 2 teams is above, and that is the Yankees and the Dodgers are both 7-2 odds to win. So I like the Astros sitting right there. That and you think about it, 60-game season. Basically, all you have to do is win 2 out of every 3 games. Basically, it's all you got to do. Basically, every homestand, just win or tie every homestand, and you're in good position.
But Jimmy, speaking of baseball, I got something else I want to talk about. What is going on with Toronto? Don't have a place to play.
Well, they got Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh told them they couldn't.
Pittsburgh shut them down?
They shut them down.
Ooh.
They shut them down.
That ain't good.
They scrambling now, man.
You know what happens now?
What?
This stuff goes beyond baseball. That means the politicians have to step in, and somebody got to make some concessions.
It was some COVID stuff, Jimmy.
I'm saying somebody, in order to make
with the Canadian government in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing, but I said, wow.
Well, you have the quarantine. First of all, the quarantine rule is in effect coming from a different country. So that's why they would deny it to play in Toronto, because those teams coming from America that would play on the road would have to quarantine or face quarantine.
Right.
How can you assure, unless you implement a for sure bubble for every team that comes there, they're not going anywhere to possibly infect your population. So that's what Toronto did, which I'm not mad at. I thought they had solved it and went to Pittsburgh. That means basically Toronto's players would basically do like the NBA and be on the road where you're traveling for half.
Yeah.
Well, you're traveling for half the games anyway.
Right.
But for these 2 months, you're gone. It's kind of like you're doing a basic training in the military. You're gone from your families for basically 2 months. So now we'll see how somebody will step up.
It's
Trust
weird.
me.
But I got something for you, something unique. And y'all, I want you to clear your minds right now. Everybody, I want Jimmy. I'm talking about college basketball. What if I told you that this was a college coach that came in the top 4? Now, I'm not gonna even give you this. I'm not even gonna play with you. Yesterday, Deep Pacific University gave Damon Stoudemire, he received a contract extension through 2020, 25, 26, Jimmy. But then I thought about it. I looked at, I went and looked at his records, Jimmy. Y'all check this out. He came in the top 4, 2 out of 4 years at Pacific with BYU, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, San Francisco, and Pepperdine in this. Nobody talked about it. We're going to talk about it today. With no graduate assistants or managers, 3 top 25 schools are in his league. 3 top 25, Jimmy, if I'm wrong, help me. 3 top 25 schools are in his league. BYU is one of those teams. They beat U of H this year. I was at the game. 2 out of 4 years, he had the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. He graduated 12 out of 13 in 4 years. Led the league in defensive points allowed. First season with 7 or more road wins since 2010. 15 home wins this year, the most in history. Damon Stoudemire. Jimmy, those figures like that, nobody talked about. I didn't know until I looked it up. And then we got a guy out here in our state that's abusing kids and coaches and players, and he get Jimmy. And I know we talk about this all the time, but it's an African American coach, man, putting in great work in that conference. Just when, Jimmy, somebody gonna recognize those things. You can come up in the screen just a little too, Jimmy, kind of a little bit down. I mean, it's just me today, Jimmy. I looked up that stuff and I said, wow. It's just unbelievable, Jimmy. Thank you, Doug. Doug said Toronto may use Camden Yards. But Jimmy, when coaches have those kind of credentials right there, if he was another color, would he be? I know we'd beat a dead horse with it. But I just
know
like
if he was another color.
But
if he was another color, he might be the head coach of the Lakers or the Sacramento Kings right about now.
Thank you.
Remember, wasn't they both on the same college staff together at Memphis under Josh Pastner?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So think about the propelment. One had to go the hard route and end up going to college coaching. The other one is on his second NBA team.
I ain't look at that, Jimmy. See, you got me. I didn't even look at that, Jimmy. I didn't even look at that. You got me looking a whole nother way. Wow.
So that's obviously, now the thing is, especially after talking with Coach the other day and I asked him that question about media. Yeah. Damon Stoudemire is a good guy, but and that's everybody though. Don't get it twisted. He's not much different for us in his circle. Right. Everybody has a circle. Everybody has people within that circle. They're a whole different person than what you might see in general. Stoudemire, in his circle, he's good people. But however, from his sports information director to his marketing person to his person that controls and helps him with his financial interests. Somewhere in between, in the midst of them, needs to start marketing him more. And as you market more, that means it rolls on off. Meaning that.
But Jimmy, but it helps when people like us talk about him too.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
I mean, I just reached out to him and just told him congratulations. And then I just went and just thought, I'm looking at what he's done. And I'm saying, I never, Jimmy, I've never talked about it on the show. I feel bad. Because if we don't talk about it, I know ain't nobody else going to talk about it. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, and you're right. Maybe his marketing people need to do. But guess what? It's our responsibility also to talk about our brightest and our greatest and things like that. So I just thought sometimes I know people like Damon Stoudemire, Deep Pacific University. I want the people to know. And guess what, Jimmy? And I'm smart enough to know that other people watch this show. It's a lot of people watch this show. And I just want to let you know that Damon Stoudemire, man, is the real deal. I would have loved for him to coach my son. And Jimmy, that's all. I mean, I didn't want to go on and on, but I still want to stay on college basketball because I want to show you something that's going on at U of H right now. I don't know if you know this, Jimmy. This transition when you get back, the players. Let me tell you the steps they got to go through. You know, I love this because I love the bubble. I explained to people while you was gone. I explained how I gave them some bubble knowledge of how and what happens in the bubble. This is U of H's bubble, the basketball team's bubble. Every step, this is called the COVID-19 procedures, Jimmy. Check this out. Every step is supervised. Step 1, entry, assembly line style. You walk in, your temperature's taken, series of questions asked, clean athletic gear provided, change in designated change areas, your own water bottle and your towel provided. Can't take a shower there. You got to leave because we got to clean up the place for the next crew. In the weight room, Jimmy, 3 at the most. 2 or 1 at a time. Guess what? Court. Coaches and managers must wear a mask. When you exit, players change out of their athletic clothes and dump it in the bins for us to wash. For them to wash. I said us. Exit out of the back entrance to avoid the group without crossing paths. That's what's going on at U of H right now, Jimmy. And I just had to share that with y'all because Ray Moore, because Jimmy, I never forget, and I don't know if you got this mission statement from them, and I got it from talking to Bilal Badley. R.J. King, the Boise State, Jimmy. I think you probably already knew that.
Remember, that's
okay. That's right. You already knew. Jimmy, phase 1 of U of H focus on. This is what they phase 1 is. Establish a culture and a program infrastructure to sustain success like they've done from 2014-17. They phase 2 was complete the $100 million basketball facility upgrades, make it one of the top 25 NCAA, be competitive with everybody else, Jimmy. Phase 3, guess what University of Houston phase 3 is? To become the Villanova or the Gonzaga of the South, competing for national championships and sending our players to the NBA draft. In addition, the first player empowerment program, which will transcend all of college basketball. They say they're on the right track, but I just wanted to give y'all some insight. That's an infomercial for U of H. So if anybody talk to the coach, tell him I gave him an infomercial today. And Jimmy, get that invoice for it. But I'm just kidding. But Jimmy, what else going on, man? I know we got some more stuff. What do we got?
Is the leaves on the trees are whispering that there could be a mass layoff within the athletic department as of September the 1st.
At U of H?
At University of Houston.
Okay.
A mass layoff with upwards of 24 people. Hadda, I don't know if you walked around several athletic departments before, but 24 people is a lot of people. 20 plus.
So you said
Now-
athletic over the whole athletic department.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm hearing. That's a
So
possibility.
how many sports do they have there, approximately?
At least 8.
That's all they got? They don't have a fencing team, a boxing, they got golf, tennis, and all that.
Got golf and tennis. I'm just saying at least 8. So I'm saying 8 to 10 at least. I just went off the top of my head. At least
Okay.
8.
Eight program. Okay.
But I know somebody that's familiar probably can show. But
They
that's,
probably don't have
that-
hockey. They don't have.
No, they don't have.
They don't have hockey. Okay.
No lacrosse.
Mhm.
You know.
That's a lot of people.
If that happens,
Mhm.
then that would be a prerequisite, because in today's paper, the University of Houston football team is adamant, saying that they're trying to keep the Bayou Bucket game with Rice active this year. And once again, just stay tuned, pay attention, right? And also, speaking of leagues that's going to, how about the Southland Conference?
They got
Remember
13, Jimmy. 13
13.
sports program.
So the University using 13 sports programs within that athletic department. And
So
in
that would be literally one per program. If you said 12 layoffs, or how many layoffs you
no,
said?
dozen.
Huh? 2 dozen?
2 dozen.
Oh, 2 dozen. Okay, my bad. Okay.
I'm not saying it's not happened. This is just, understand, guys. Depending on your source, let you know, I'm saying unless some defunding would have to go and get shuffled around in order to prevent it. So even if 12 layoffs, that's too many. Even if that's half the amount of the 2 dozen, if it's 1 dozen, that's a lot. Because think about it. That means those people don't have nowhere to go, because school will already be pretty much in session. That's September the 1st. See, that's when the fiscal year starts for a lot of institutions. Some starts June the 1st, some starts September the 1st, and then some start to count theirs at January the 1st. It just depends. But most of the colleges, September the 1st starts their fiscal year. That means their budgets, they can spend that new money or the new allocated money. So speaking of conferences, the Southland Conference has announced that they are full intent on playing a full football season this fall. Now, included in the Southland Conference is at least 3 colleges. Well, I'm sorry, 4 colleges that are in or within a 90-mile radius of the an hour and a half drive. Put it like that. We're talking about the mileage, an hour and a half drive. That would be HBU, which is located right in Houston. Sam Houston State, which is located up 45 north on the other side of the Woodlands in Conroe. Lamar, which is located in Beaumont, less than an hour and a half drive. And SFA, which is about an hour and a half drive getting to SFA, depending on, making no stops. So that's 4. They're having a full football season. The SWAC has shut everything down. Matter of fact, uprooted their football from the fall to the spring, spring, winter, whatever you want to call it, January. Spring semester, that is. So why do you think the Southland is so hell-bent on playing their football season in full, not prolonging? And there are 4 schools that are within this greater Houston, touching the greater Houston area, so to speak. Even though SFA is East Texas, we understand. I'm talking about as far as, and a lot of their players are from greater Houston. Why? You don't even have to ask why. We don't even need no answer, guys. You know why. So you understand? Not just money. However, there's a lot of people. 2020 is the year of you can't tell me what the hell to do. And people are showing it with their actions. Remember, we just had the coach from Morgan State on here on Tuesday, Kevin Brodus. They had to send their whole basketball team back home. Remember that? Brought them in and sent them all back home. They could have kept them now. Send them back home. Too much time elapsed. We don't even know we're going to have, when we're going to start. That's just something to think about. We'll lay that on you guys. Lay that on you. And meanwhile, we lay that on you. We go to a quick break. I know it's break time. Go to a quick break and come right back. Come right back on the Chop Shop. And then we shift gears and talk. We got a couple other topics, some NBA talk when we come right back. Get some updates from the bubble this year. At the top of the hour, we'll talk some grassroots topics, go in the mailbag, a couple of social media topics that are out there, and answer your questions, as well as keep the phone lines open, 832-264-1500. Chop Shop, be right back.
Man, just never quitting, honestly. I knew it was blitz zero. I checked the play. Kevin Johnson was here last year, so he knew the signal, seen a bell, and I just told myself to stay up. I mean, it's do or die right now. And all the work I've been putting in the offseason, I just had to make a play. And I told the guys before the game, I said, I put a card in the locker. I said, let's be great today. So somebody had to be great. Why not me?
You get down to a decision, and a lot of the candidates may look alike, but then you just have like a feeling about a guy. And you just have a good feeling, and you don't know what it is. And I think often what it is unconscious bias. And maybe it's that the person reminds you of yourself, or they look or feel like what a head coach or general manager looks or feel like. And that's all based on like just the fact that they've always looked and felt the same way. So I think that the thing I proposed to fix it was just a way to force owners to kind of reckon with the unconscious bias. So my suggestion was that they need to submit in writing everyone that they're hiring and the reason, or everyone that they're interviewing and the reasons why they're interviewing them. And then when they decide on someone, also in writing, submit why they decided on this person and the reasons why they didn't decide on the other people. Because I think it's really hard to then, it forces you to like really ask yourself, why? What am I doing here? Is there some sort of unconscious bias playing into this? And I think the response that I got was largely positive, but there were some people who were saying like they own the teams. It should not be their obligation. But my pushback on that is no, like they exist.
Did you played AU with Ja Morant?
Yeah, I played with Ja when we were like nobodies. My freshman year summer and his sophomore summer.
How good was that team?
Me and Ja, we were like the role players.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, it's actually
Wait, who are the stars? You guys are the number 1 and 2 pick in the draft.
we were the role players. What people don't know is it's a dude that goes to Ole Miss now, Devontae Shuler. Like in South Carolina, he was the guy. And I remember I used to play with him. I'm playing up age group, but I'm watching him play. Like, man, this dude is just going coast to coast, finishing, pulling up transition 3 like he's Curry. I'm like, I'm just a 9th grader. Nobody knows who I am. He's like top 30 in the nation, just a certified bucket. Me and Ja just look at each other sometimes like, man, came a long way. Like,
yeah,
nobody knew us.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. Hey, guys, why don't you take out the time to share the show right now? That's what I'm doing right now. If you're on the Facebook feed, hit the share button, share the show to you can say share to your story public, or you can share now public. And the difference between the two, if you share now, it goes in your timeline. If you share to your story, it'll go in those little video sections that you see on your home page right across on your Facebook feed. If you guys, and also make sure once the show over with, if you would be so kind to go slide over to our YouTube page and like us. Our likes are steady creeping upward, and we're going to get to that milestone to where it's the Chop Shop.
You mean, Jimmy? Subscribe.
Yeah, I say like and subscribe to our. It's free to do so. It's no gimmicks, no catches to it. You simply go and subscribe to our YouTube page, and you never know. Guess what? It benefited a lot of people yesterday, when we had some difficulties on the Chop Shop on the Facebook feed, and a lot of the viewers just slid right over to YouTube and kept on rocking. And that's how we roll on the Chop Shop. So once again, the phone lines open 832-264-1500. 832-264-1500. That's the number directly in. If you got something off your chest, then feel free to share it with us.
Hey, Kendrick Lewis seemed like he got something he got to get off his chest. He didn't ask this question 2 times. When somebody asks a question 2 times, that means he got something he want to get off his chest. What are the expectations?
Is he the one who asked about
Shaka Smart?
About Shaka Smart?
Yes. That's his second time asking.
Well, I replied and I asked him to elaborate. So call in and elaborate.
Call in.
If you would. Yeah, 832-264-1500. The numbers at the bottom of the screen. That way you can elaborate. I don't understand what you mean by Shaka hasn't produced. And, you know, this way I can understand that before we proceed. I want to make sure I understand you right. When you don't want to jump out there, and I want to give you a chance to elaborate on that. So feel free to call in and we'll time on that. Meanwhile, hey, guess what? Looks like those social media videos were not for Neil when it comes to Iron Mike Tyson, because a deal has been set for him to fight Roy Jones Jr. on September the 12th and in LA. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It would be pay-per-view. 8-round, they're calling it an exhibition, and I'm not an expert on boxing, but I would think the exhibition word means that you have to go through less certifications or sanctions to get permitted to fight. So, and you know, it doesn't have to go through all of the governing bodies to get permitted. Now, meanwhile, we go right here as promised. 832-264-1500 is the number directly into the hotline of the Chop Shop, and we'll go and open things up right now. If we will, we'll open the hotline up in just a second. Let me get this thing right for you guys. And let's see.
Jimmy, I ain't been talking about. See, everybody talking about I'm a homer. I haven't been talking about this recruiting that's been going on down in Memphis.
We're gonna get that in just a second. Meanwhile, we got a guest on the Chop Shop. Welcome to the Chop Shop. Who's calling?
This is Dodo on the Chop Shop.
Hey, Dodo!
Hold on, Jimmy. Let me give her a horn. Hold on. Yeah, that's for Dodo.
What city are you in? What city are you gracing with your presence right now?
I'm in Austin, Texas, reporting live from work right now. I just wanted to mess with y'all while I was on break.
Oh man, we
so special.
Austin, Texas, and what's the atmosphere in Austin after the recent decision to rename the football stadium after Earl Campbell, as well as Ricky Williams,
yes,
and as well as take down and rename a couple of the statues? Have you talked to any of the college the college students over at UT and got the vibe?
I haven't talked to them, but you know what? I'm going to reach out to them because I am curious to know their thoughts on it. I know that it was their idea to begin with, and it just shows how much power student athletes actually have, so they have to use it, you know? Their voices are going to be heard because a lot of the school's money comes from the athletic programs.
And that, indeed, a whole lot.
And Dodo, we can see that because these schools are cutting back they're cutting back on, like Stanford, cutting back on 11 teams. Jimmy just said that U of H thinking about laying off some people or firing some people.
It's called furloughing.
Furloughing.
From what I heard, at UH.
Oh, so you've heard the U of H rumors too?
No, yeah, I already know some of the moves. Look, reporting live on the Chop Shop. Here goes some tea.
There you go. Give it to her.
My
Let me
baby
get my
there.
cup. Let me get my cup. Give it to me then,
My
Dodo.
baby right there.
You have already cut off the whole video department from the head, from the rooter to the tutor. There's no more video department. Some other people that help out, I don't know their actual position names, but their offices are located in the Athletic Alumni Center, have also gotten laid off. So they said at the end of August, they're done for the year, at least.
That's September the 1st. That would go in sync from what I heard from a good source. And I've heard upward it would be approximately around 20 to 20, as many as 26 people within the athletic department. So what does that mean if there's no video? Because you are a communications major, just graduated from University of Houston this year.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And I actually interned with them as well during the season. So what no video means is the stuff that you're able to provide for recruits, the video highlights that you get during the games, after the games, you know, special interviews for coaches at practices and stuff like that. Behind the scenes looks of all the athletic programs, you're going to get none of that unless it's going to be like the bootleg version and not the professional version.
Man, so what do you see happening after that? So the sports, everything's going to go, no sports are going to get rolled back at U of H, right? As it stands, that you're hearing?
Not that I've heard of yet.
Man, when you keep us posted, Dodo, that's what I'm talking about. See, Dodo, you know what, Dodo, let me tell you something. You know what? Every Wednesday, we're gonna set a time. You're gonna call. We're gonna get you to and open the door for you to call in every Wednesday. That's Women Rock Wednesday with the Dodos. You know, we gonna. I don't know what we're gonna call it. I gotta think of something. I gotta sip me one this weekend. I gotta mix something. I'm gonna mix something with my tea. You know, I might have to take my tea to Long Island and come back and I'll come up with a name. But we're going to get you to give us every Wednesday and that way we can keep our pulse as to what's going on with a lot of the college students, what's going on with a lot of the campuses that extends beyond sports, because you still have your ear to the street, as well as WNBA. You can give us an update on the WNBA every week because they too starting their season this week up in Orlando in Florida. Okay?
I got you.
Thank you, sweetie.
There we go.
Right.
That's how we do. We rock with our interns.
That's how we
like
roll,
right
man.
on the spot. You guys just heard it. So now she has more on her plate to deal with other than working. So thanks so much. And that is Dorian Branch, guys, former basketball star at University of Houston, who's now entered the working world even during the pandemic, and she's getting it done as she now resides in Boston.
Jimmy, you don't have to get
thank you all.
Hey, Dodo. Jimmy, you don't have to get you no liquor. Jay Jackson has got it. It's called the Dodo Report.
The Dodo? No, Dodo knows.
No. It's called, the name of it is called the Dodo Report.
Dodo Report. I'm saying somebody else said Dodo knows.
Dodo,
we gotta vote on
okay. I got you. Okay, all right. Okay.
We'll let Dodo decide, and you guys can feel free to give your suggestion as to what the brief segment would be from Dodo each Wednesday. Would it be the Dodo Report? The Dodo Report? Dodo knows? Or I can't wait to read more.
I got to write that down.
So, anyway, thanks so much, Dodo. We'll talk with you on Wednesday. All right. And of course, 832-264-1500. 832-264-1500. The hotline is open for you guys right now. And shout out to Farb, and he mentioned that Klein High School, Klein ISD, they're starting in person on September the 5th. Right. Before then, they would be virtual, but they're starting in person on September the 5th. Remember, HISD is not going in person until later. I think September the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys correct me if I'm off on that. And also, somebody asked a question for me as promised. I promised you guys yesterday that I would disclose the matchups that would have comprised the RCS Sports season opener. And I did that. in the VIP news on RCS Sports this morning. It's right there.
Yeah.
Go to RCS Sports.
Yeah.
Click
There
in
you
the
go.
VIP news. It's right there. Now, what I could do to you for you guys on the Chop Shop, I can give you what the matchups were going to be. Now, since there will be no season opener, a lot of those schools will be playing different games, different opponents, the same opponents, and whatnot. That is all listed in the VIP news. Who they were supposed to play and who they will now play and where and what date. I even give you the dates and the times because I went the extra mile to ensure that every team that was playing in my event would be okay, would be taken care of to that aspect. And so what we got right now? Who's knocking it? Who at the door, Hatter? You let the screen door open. Chop Shop. Who we have here? Welcome to the Chop Shop. Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, man? Big fan of y'all show. I'm happy I got on, and my name is Kendrick Lewis.
Hey, what's going on,
what's
Mr.
up,
Lewis? Man?
Okay, good.
Hey, I'm saying I appreciate all the coaches and stuff y'all brought through there. And one of the episodes I liked most was the Richard Hamilton one because I was the one that texted in and thought he was always mad. In all actuality, been watching that interview with him, it was real cool to see. Like, man, he really seems like he's a real good dude, which I appreciate that.
Oh man, thank you so much.
But my question was, when it comes to Shaka Smart,
okay,
I've never seen him on the show. Is it that he don't have a relationship with the local community? Because I look at all the kids that get out the state, and I'm like, are we not helping them? Because yes, I'm gonna say it. I support black coaches.
Okay.
And I want to succeed.
Okay.
Can y'all help me with that?
I'll let Jimmy answer that one.
Go first, Hatter, and I respond after.
Well, I don't know why we haven't had him on the show. I really don't know him that well.
We had Shock on the Chop Shop.
Okay.
We had him on the
Okay.
Chop Shop.
Okay.
It's been about two years.
Okay.
Maybe
okay.
two.
Long time. Okay. I got you. Okay. But so what are you saying? What can we do to help him? Kendrick, what you asking me?
Yeah. Yes.
Kendrick, didn't he get the best player? He got the best player out of Texas. He got Greg Brown. What else you want him to have? He been having pro after pro. He had Jackson. He been having pro after pro every year. So what else you think we should? What else can we do?
Man, we need a better representation from the perspective of, I think nationally people know we have great ball players, but I kind of want to see it, and I'm being selfish, I'm saying me.
Okay.
I kind of want to see it that we show from our programs, though, from a winning perspective.
Say it again.
I kind of want to see it from our basketball programs as far as colleges from a winning perspective. I love to see when TSU make their noise because they doing their thing. But I like to see U of H doing their thing. Okay. But I kind of want to see
Texas,
all the Texas schools really show like, hey, we really, really play ball here.
I got
you know, other than our players going all over the country.
I like
and we don't see our team showing up like that.
So you saying our top players out of Houston should go to Texas? That's what you would prefer?
Not just Texas, but all the Texas schools, man.
But they do.
Because I just don't feel like we represent nationally enough. Like I say, I like how TSU represent, and I like how U of H represent. You know what I mean?
I got you. But let me tell you something I heard, Kendrick. Some coaches, let me tell you, some coaches have to watch that dynamic of having so many players from a certain city or a certain. They got to go they have to sometimes go elsewhere because if let's say I got a team, I got all Houston players. All them dudes ain't playing. So somebody going to be mad as hell. So I might not get no more Houston players. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's have to be a unique mix. Even with Penny, you know, me being a alumni of Memphis, we watched the dynamic. Because the guys that we got from Memphis, bless their little hearts, they gave us the most trouble and wasn't that good.
Ah, come on now.
No, I'm telling you, you ain't hearing it. You ain't hearing it like I'm hearing it. You don't hear it like the alumni hear it. Let me tell you something. If little Johnny ain't playing, and he from Memphis, Memphis gonna tear your head off. Kendrick, I'm gonna show you how bad it is, Kendrick.
Hey, since you put it that way, I guess I gotta respect that now. I have to.
Kendrick, it's worse than that, Kendrick. Go Google this for me. Go Google this. Two cousins of brothers, got to fighting over Penny Hardaway. One talking about he a good coach, and the other one say he ain't. They got to fighting, and one of them shot the other one. Just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
You follow me?
I just want us to represent as a state a little bit more. Naturally, man, I just don't feel like we represent well, man.
Okay.
Well, and what I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to add something to it, and I'm going to add some factuals. University of Texas, remember now, they're only 2 years removed from winning the NIT.
Correct.
That season before last, they won the NIT. Last year, do you realize that University of Texas came in 3rd place in the Big 12 this season? Did it not?
Realize.
I'm just saying.
I didn't realize.
They came in 3rd place behind Baylor and Kansas.
So why the hell they trying to fire Shaka then?
No, that's why I want to make sure where you're coming from first. Because I understand. Yeah. And I'm not getting on you because it's a good question, but then sometimes you can see stuff and not pay attention. I need you to start paying attention. These are facts. They came in 3rd place. Fact, the year before last, they won the NIT.
Fact.
Right. Which is hard to do.
Yes.
You know, because you're already disappointed going into the NIT because NIT means you didn't get picked for the NCAA tournament. So they played and you get to go there and you went to Madison Square Garden. They took care of business. So now, 3rd, do you realize that University of Texas bring virtually everybody back in the rotation? They don't lose not a single player, and yet you add a guy that turned down $250,000 to go play in the G League initiative this year. That's Greg Brown. They bring him in the fold. They came in 3rd place. You bring a 6'9", 6'10", projected collegiate, an amateur mega star. Put him like that. That's what he is. He's an amateur mega star.
He is. I've watched him play. He's a great player.
So Matt Coleman is back, right?
So
right? You got Jace Fabers back. Fabers from Westfield High School. He's back. Andrew Jones is back and healthier.
Mm-hmm.
Remember now.
Yeah.
A healthier Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
He's a coach on the court.
Mm-hmm. Great kid.
Right.
Too.
You got young kids that was injured last year, like Gerald Liddell. That's back.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
He's fighting injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Stretch Williams.
Yes.
He was time go upward as the season progressed. Donovan Stretch Williams out of Elkins High School. He's back. And guess what? A guy that has won over a lot of people in Austin. That team has come together a lot during the pandemic because on that campus, the things that were going on at the football program was fighting for. It wasn't just football. University of Texas basketball was fighting. The Qs were fighting. The Kappas were fighting. The Sigmas were fighting. The Alphas were fighting. They all were fighting and got results.
Wait a minute. What? Hey, the AKAs wasn't fighting?
Well, yeah, they were fighting. I'm just talking about the guy part.
Okay.
Yeah, they were fighting.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The Deltas were fighting as well. You see my red cup.
I'm just messing with you. Hey, Jimmy, I can't believe you didn't mention Will Baker, man. You wrong for that.
Will Baker. You know you play. Say, you ever been to the Rocket game and one of the opponents make a bucket? It could be LeBron James. He make a bucket in the Toyota Center. The announcer gonna say
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
Keep on going.
Wow, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Appreciate it, man, for tuning into the Chop Shop, man. Thanks so much. And that's how we rock, guys. We have the phone lines open for you guys.
That was good.
Go into a break.
Yeah.
Roll into a break. We come right back, and we'll keep the line open.
Hold on, let me find Jimmy. Hold on, let me find a good break.
264-600. That's the number. 322-264-1500. Then that's the number to call right in. Guess what, guys? It's Baby Friday. That's how we roll on the Chop Shop. We just trying to enhance your midday as we roll into the weekend. We'll be right back in a minute on the Chop Shop. You guys stay right there. Don't go nowhere.
Overall, -6 on the glass. 6 to shoot. John crossing over and going to the cup. Sensational move by the rookie.
There are so many black college football players who had great pro careers that most people don't understand and realize that they went to historically black colleges and universities. And I'll give you just a few. Walter Payton, when he retired and for many years after, was the leading rusher in the National Football League, went to an HBCU. Jerry Rice, the all-time leading receiver in NFL history, went to an HBCU. Deacon Jones, maybe the greatest defensive end in the history of the game, went to an HBCU. Michael Strahan, the NFL's single-season sack leader, HBCU. Jackie Slater, HBCU. Mel Blount, HBCU. Lem Barney, an HBCU. Art Shell, HBCU. John Stallworth, HBCU. These are players who obviously went on to great stardom in the NFL, and I keep coming back to this. They're not unique. There were great players coming out of historically black colleges and universities, but the doors of professional football were not always open to them. It really wasn't until the 1960s, and primarily because of the new American Football League, who were looking for good players. And they had to go a little colorblind to find some, and they did. And then that opened the doors in the then rival NFL. Bill Nunn, a great Pittsburgh Courier sports editor, became an employee of the Pittsburgh Steelers to scout historically black colleges and universities, found players like Mel Blount to play for the Steelers. So there was a wealth of talent in these schools. They just had to be invited to the dance.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over this entire world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And if you're on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, go over to YouTube and subscribe to us and hit that bell so the bell can send you a notification. And if you're on Facebook, like us and share us. So like and share on this side, subscribe and hit the bell on the other side and give us a thumbs up. So Jimmy, where you want to go? That was a great call from Kendrick Lewis. Awesome call. Yeah, both callers. And Jimmy,
we keep
somebody said
keep it popping, and the phone lines are still open. And Andre Branch say, let's talk about the best team in the Big 12, them Baylor Bears. And indeed, man, Baylor, Baylor was #1 in the country this year. Now, they did lose to TSU the year before that. Now, I want to remind you that TSU went to Baylor and took care of business. Now, but meanwhile,
that was a social promotion.
Actually, that might have helped. That loss helped.
What?
It helped. It helped Baylor get focused, and it was grooving ever since then.
Jimmy,
they have been
maybe they was expanding their minds that day.
Expanding the minds, and that's the new thing. But I mean, Baylor, guess what? I mean, a great class coming in, and they've also just picked up a commitment from a projected McDonald's All-American. That's Kendall Brown, And Kendall Brown, I mean, he's rough. We had him at top 100 camp. He's pretty doggone good. So Baylor
you've seen him
just
play.
moving up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
he good at?
I mean,
what he's good at?
I mean, he can attack from the wing. He can make plays. I mean, he's rangy. You know, I mean, he's a baller, and you can just tell. I mean, so he's part of that 2021 class that's coming in. And as you see, a lot of these guys aren't wasting time.
Right.
And as we projected that this would happen. So what happens when I say this, meaning that a lot of kids, they're getting these offers and they're not playing around. And it goes to prove that all of these kids have traveled, we're talking about top tier kids, 4 or 5 stars. They've already traveled around the country. Mm-hmm. So this stuff, that old adage, man, you want to go see yes, you want to see the campus, but they have virtual tours now.
But them virtual tours ain't going to show you them rats over in the corner.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're going now for that, see, they tell you, because it's coach speak, it's politically correct speak. Pick the college, not the coach. Not many people, well, a lot, but they're not the majority. The majority, the staff, that head coach has more burden than the school itself. And we're talking about basketball. Okay. Can't speak for other sports. But for basketball, those coaches, the head coach, some of the assistant coaches, has a great deal of influence, more than the school itself for most. So when you think about that, that means this Baylor staff, the worst thing that I've ever heard about that staff, this current staff, not talking about the previous one, that's a different whole story, you know, not Dave Bliss, talking about Scott Drew and his staff. The worst thing I heard, think about how this sounds, was from other coaches back in the days. This was years ago. Man, they cheating, but I just don't know how. I always ask when the guys, I say, well, how? Coach, how they cheating? Man, they cheating. Trust me, they cheating. Well, how, Coach? Well, how you think they're getting it done? Man, I don't know how. So that means, Coach, you just unsubstantiated accusation. You just accusing them of cheating. You don't even have a clue how. I say, Coach, let me tell you what I do know. I saw them in action doing. I've seen and been fortunate enough back in the days when I was in, you know, sometimes you can be in or you can be in deep or you can be in too deep. So back then, during my grassroots days, I happened to witness a home visit from one of the coaches.
I remember.
Yeah. And I see and then I watch Baylor, they all have in common. As you can see now, even the latest guy, they have common, they have a similar spirituality, views on their spirit is similar. Meaning that, and they all believe in the Bible. They're not the only staff that believe in the Bible. But they do know that in the Big 12 conference, most staffs ain't that in sync, ain't that entwined as they are with Baylor, as they are, and they have in years past. And what happens, meaning that you would have even the black guys would go to the white. That don't mean black guys can go to white churches, but their beliefs are parallel. When Paul Mills was on that staff with Jerome Tang and other crews, the guys that are head coaches now, what they would do is, if they knew somebody in your family, like some coaches would ask me back in the days, you know, who I need to get with, who got the influence on the kid. Then I would say, well, the girlfriend, here's her number. You know, the uncle, you got to watch him. He ain't going to hardly see him a lot, man, in the gym. But that uncle got the juice, man, because he let the kid drive his car all the time. So uncle up in there. And they say, well, the grandmama, whoever in that family, Baylor would then proceed to find out if they believe in the Bible. If they believe in the Bible, then Baylor know they have an inside lane on the track. And most people from the South most black people have a belief in the Bible. You see? So that was the way. So you could call it cheating because they're using the spirituality that you may not be able to be as acute to you implement yourself. That was the way that they got in. Because I've seen them sit there and they singing hymns with the parent, with that grandmama, with that mama that believe in the good book, or that dad, or the kid itself. They winning like that with the kids. So that's why you can see like a lot of their kids, they don't get certain type of kids Baylor don't even touch. Because if they bringing you into the fold, and if you don't have no spirit, the same idea of spirituality, Baylor not going to recruit. Well, I'm not saying they're not. Depending on the talent can be already a problem. They're not likely to recruit the devout Muslim. No, and probably wouldn't say that because that would be going below the belt. But I don't, they probably
Muslims have spirituality also, but just not the same.
Yes.
So
that's just not parallel.
Yeah. But
so that means now it wouldn't be hard to reach that guy on a Sunday when the coach say, "Come on."
Let me show you a unique thing that I'll never forget when Tang was on this show. He said everything we do around here is built around the concept of joy. Joy for us means Jesus first, others second, and yourself last. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And Jimmy, earlier up and down, you missed Mo City Finest. I want you to answer this question. He said, with Langston Love going to Baylor, how does LJ Cryer fit in?
Well, understand something. People don't, first of all, why people don't ask those same questions when it comes to Duke or Kentucky or North Carolina? The Blue Bloods, people don't ask those questions.
You sure?
But when it,
or they just don't ask them because they don't care.
Not abroad. It's like because it's customary for them to go.
A lot of the top players.
On top. It's like almost like they got to. Well, Baylor was a #1 team in the country for a couple of weeks this season. In order to attain that, you have to go find the best talent that you can find that fits your program. In doing so, you know this kid is good. You're not gonna. If this kid's good, guess what? If you're good during your stay, that means LJ Cryer has 1 year to get better and prove his worth. That kid coming in is a year later. So
I think LJ just can do things that kid can't do.
But they're not coming in at the same time, Howard. They're the same class, then that's a concern. They're not coming in together. Right. LJ Cryer's audition is this year.
Right.
That question need to be asked in a minute, because if LJ Cryer does good enough, does Langston Love change his mind? No. They don't recruit guys like that. Now the thing about it with Baylor were red shirt forwards, but it ain't many guards that they brought in on scholarship that's red shirted. They don't red shirt for the most part. You can count them on one hand in the past 10 years, the amount of guards that they red shirted in that program.
And Jimmy, and guess what? And maybe Mo City haven't really watched Baylor. Baylor plays three, sometimes 4 guards. So they play. So it's LJ Cryer ain't got nothing to worry about. LJ, I'll put him up against anybody. I'll put him up against anybody.
It comes down to understand. Baylor has a lot coming back this season. Mm-hmm. So the role is there. When Langston Love comes in, the opportunity would be there for him. LJ will take up on a role, not to say Langston Love won't, but LJ this year will take up on a role, and there's no pressure on him this season. He's gonna get in where he fit in and do whatever's called upon him to do. And understand, this team, they were #1 in the country for the most part of this season. And when Langston Love comes in, They got Langston Love and Kendall Brown, I just mentioned a while ago, coming in together side by side. Say, that's the foundation. I love what Baylor is doing.
Oh, I love it.
I love what University of Texas is doing. But this season right now is put up or shut up for UT because there's no excuse this year. You got everybody back. And you got Greg Brown. Everybody back and Greg Brown. So that means UT is expected to thump. We don't know what's going to happen to Kansas. Remember now, before the season starts, there's going to be a hammer. Now, how hard the hammer is going to hit, hell, they could have a new coach when the season starts. Let's not forget now. Pay attention.
Jimmy, I got a question for you because I saw something. Maybe you can help me this. With your vast knowledge of this. I saw, we talked about it briefly yesterday, but I saw an updated thing on what's that, 247? It's an updated situation. Let me see. Updated rankings. I'm sorry. My mind went blank for a minute. It was updated rankings, and I want, and maybe you can help me because you've done this before a million times. They just said updated rankings, and it came out, but they had a unique. And you helped me with this one, Jimmy. They had a unique write-up talking about the new prospects who jumped into 5-star range. And they said a number of 5-star prospects jumped from 16 to 21 in this update, with a few prospects making a major move on this list. One who made an especially big jump was Bryce Griggs, a Houston native who has transferred to California, is one of the best pure shot makers in the class. I want you to help me out with that description because I don't like that description. But these people's writing, and you write, so I'm just, you help me. You think it was like a video game because he never misses. Don't like that. Ain't said nothing about his passing. Ain't said nothing about his point guard ability. While Griggs don't possess the type of size and athleticism at the position that is typical seen at the 5-star level, his shot making and scoring ability is so elite that he more than justified this significant jump up the list. Explain this to me. I read that to you, Jimmy. I don't understand that talk. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. You had a little sniggle on your face. You might understand that talk. But Jimmy, how can a guy jump like this and no games have been played?
Well, easy. It happens a lot. And a lot of people, what a lot of people can do now during this pandemic is a lot of guys that do the rankings, nationwide, regional, they have time now to go and watch film that they did not pay attention to before. So nobody likes for anybody to stuff a player down their throat. And I caution and I warn you guys about that for years. It is, I'm just telling you how the guys I watch, it's a method they don't like for certain people. Say, for example, there are some grassroots coaches in Houston who are flamboyant with their tongue, and they could go and say a kid is number one right now. It would be resistance because it's coming from him. So if that's the local level, it's the same way because so many guys attack the rankers when it don't go their way. And so sometimes the word get back to those rankers. You gonna attack me on Monday, but you want me to rank your kid higher on Friday. So what they do is, this is their way of saying, it's kind of adjusting the market in economics. So a kid rises and not have played any games. For example, LJ Cry didn't play in the grassroots games last year. Did LJ Cry rise? in the rankings nationally, Adam?
Oh, you tell me.
LJ Cry did not rise in the rankings when he did not play. He missed the spring, and he only played about a few games with the Houston Hoops at Peach Jam. He did not rise. But the thing was, there was no pause in action. Whatever they did not see, nobody was willing to go. LJ Cry, they wasn't going to be willing to go back and look at some of his Martin Ranch film. Now, in this situation, there's so many different layers and angles. With Bryce Griggs, remember I said it before, when he played against Keontae George back in November on that Saturday at Duncanville High School, Saturday after Thanksgiving. Remember I said it then. I said, and we came back on the show that Monday, and I said it before then. I say a performance from Bryce Griggs against him, an A+ performance, does not necessarily mean that Keontae is going to get an F.
Okay.
Keontae can get a B-. And still, they're not going to drop him below Griggs on that one performance. Now, if Griggs would have been where he is right now, and they played, it's very well possible he could supplant him on the list.
But why him? Because on this particular list, he did supplant him. George dropped. If you want me to call it out.
What number is George?
I think he dropped down to 20-something, and Bryce went up to 17.
So he got, and that was the punishment. Now,
what you mean? Help me out. I'm serious. I'm just trying to learn.
Well, the punishment can come from different ways. In different, remember now, it can come from different. Then you have to ask the person that's doing the ranking. I'm just talking about in general.
I got you.
The punishment could be from Keontae George. That person, where did he drop from? First of all, what number?
Jimmy, he dropped from 13 to 22.
So he dropped 9 slots, and Bryce rose from what to what?
From 23 to 17.
So Bryce was already in the range.
Yeah.
And he moved him up. Keontae just got punished. So they're the first service.
What you mean by range, Jimmy, to people who don't know?
Range meaning that either you're top 5, you're top 10, you're top 25. You're top 25 meaning that you're in good shape for the McDonald's All-American game if you're in the top 25. Not just on one poll, on a consensus.
Okay. Got
if you're in the top 25, you're in that range.
Is this a good poll?
Well, 24/7 is a good poll. They're a consolidation. Remember, Evan Daniels, I think, took over, and he just left 24/7. 24/7 Sports, they're respectable. They're national formidable. They have what they call a composite rankings. They have different things. They have algorithms that go into some of their stuff, a lot of their stuff, and which is different than most. Most people don't have. They actually have algorithms. They also do a good job on projecting what college that players will go to now, and guys and they keep tabs of different guys who make the predictions nationally. And I think last year, or 2 of the last 3 years, Dane Irvin, who lives in Houston now, actually was first amongst that list, either first or second, but he was first a couple of years as far as percentages of getting them right. But back to understanding the range. If you're in a certain range, think of it as you going to a concert. And if you go to the concert and tickets come out, most of the time people will say, if they got their tickets, what they say? I'm on the first row. I got first row tickets. People that got first row, they don't say I'm on the floor because it's understood I got first row. You're not telling me nobody is concerned that you got first row seat number 8. When the last time somebody told you, I got first row, man, I'm on seat 7, first row. They say I'm on the first row.
Right.
So I mean, you're in that range. You got backstage pass, you're in a different range. Now, if you're not on the first row, what do you say if your tickets are still down there and you 4 seats back? You on
the
row
floor.
D. I'm on the floor. Then you might say, I'm right about in front of the stage.
Yeah.
To describe.
Yeah, where
that's your range.
Front row.
That's
yeah.
your top
I'm in the center. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on down there. I can get you on the floor. Come
Okay.
on down here. I'm gonna walk you on down, get you. If you got a backstage pass, what you tell the person? Come on, I can get you back here. Come meet me during the break.
Yeah.
That's how the range.
Okay.
Then other people will say, those people, there are some people that would rather sit in the lower prom, first row, second row, and get a good seat at the stage rather than sit on the floor in section E. So it's range in this stuff with rankings. And once you get to a certain range, and I see, whereas Herb Ladie says it's all entertainment, man. Don't know why people worry so much about others' opinion. Herb, let me tell you something. It don't just stop. It don't stop with college. Think about how much flack people if that's the case, think about what's been the narrative of the last 2 years, Herb. Is LeBron the GOAT? Is Michael Jordan the GOAT? These are people's opinions.
So
the
people
year before
do
that,
worry about it.
Kevin Durant is the best. LeBron. These are people's opinions. It don't stop when you get, just because you get out of high school and out of college. That stuff is going on for the rest of your life as long as you are producing. When you are no longer producing, then the air goes out the ball, it doesn't matter no more. To most. But yeah, that stuff matters. And that was part of the problem, because the thing is, a lot of the people, a lot of us who comprise the list, you know, I might need to write an article and break it down for the magazine this year and go around the entire country just so I can prove and show you guys it's normal. Even earlier this week, Haller, you made a statement.
What?
Past 9th grade, I ain't made now another layup in high school.
I didn't mean it. Like, you took it like,
no. But the market is, in this market, that's the normal. How many layups you think Clark Francis made?
But that wasn't the analysis.
How many layups you think Van Coleman or Frank Burleson or Big Tate? How many layups you think Big Tate made? I'm just saying, not saying they didn't play basketball.
No,
I'm quite sure.
I was using it as an adjective.
Because
you so eloquently said I didn't play. I didn't worry about that. But you got knowledge of it. That's the point I was trying to make. But I know that's a different. I was just trying to make, because you have knowledge of something that you didn't really just do, but you studied the game. Some people study the game. You're right. I saw Clark. Dave Tellep don't look like he done made a layup. Jeff Van Gundy.
And I'm quite sure, like Evan Daniels, he played high school ball. Jerry, I can't think of Jerry last name. Some of those guys played, but I'm talking about as far as the collegiate level. You know, because we're talking about recruiting and got scholarships and played on a public scholarship. You know, and it's so not many that do the rankings and for public consumption. There's a lot of guys, most of the guys that play do them rankings and that play the game, they doing them, and the rankings are under the in the underground.
Jim, and I would like to say, Jimmy, if Bryce had played on that Nike tour this summer, he was gonna move way. I think he would have moved up, in me personally, in the top 10.
He would have had the opportunity easily.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons he went for. The opportunity would have been there.
Yes.
And that's when I was saying to people before he left, and I was saying, man, he right there. He didn't even have to go, because you're right there, and now you're going to play with this team. You're going to play with this team with those players they had on that roster. it's up to you. You would have to fumble. He would have to lay a goose egg in order for it to not to rise. And what happens is, here's what happens now. In California, they will think he hadn't suited up not one game for no grassroots team, no high school team. But some of them would swear on 5 stacks of Bibles that they got him ranked higher.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
This was inevitable. It's inevitable.
Thank you.
Tell them to prove it. Tell them to prove it.
Yeah.
Prove how they got him ranked higher. Then watch how this conversation ends. Tell them to prove it. Prove it to me. Prove it to me that you got him ranked higher, and he hadn't even touched it. He haven't even got. Now understand, he was going to be ranked higher anyway.
Yes, that's the point right there.
It was coming.
Yes.
Down the chutes. Remember, some people had already jumped him up.
Yes.
These people just happen to update their rankings that other people going to update theirs later on in the next month or so. They happen to just adjust their rankings because at some point they have to adjust because some people have reclassified out of 2020 from one class to the next, and they sometimes you want to adjust it. Hell, the RCS sports rankings are going to be updated next weekend, and some guys hadn't even played. But you know what? Because it needs to be done, because otherwise people will look at the rankings and they will see some people on there that may not have been doing that good, or vice versa, may have been doing pretty good in the games that they have played, and they wonder why the hell how can this guy be way down, and it could be used against RCS sports. People will say, hey man, you see this guy been balling all the mixtapes, been balling all summer. Look where Hicks got it. Matter of fact, you see these 7-footers that's playing we talked about it the other week when the guys had the skirmish, and neither one of those guys are ranked. That could be used against RCS sports, even though he just moved in from California. That's another thing, another whole topic. People think that California people don't move to Houston. Hell, that's one right there. That Africa, the 7-footer, who got a chance. He really got a chance, Hal.
Which one?
Big Doc.
On select one team.
Yeah, he got a chance.
They're blocking all them shots. Yes, he got a chance.
So that's how you market him. That's all you got to see. That's the thing about marketing. Don't worry about the other stuff. Blocking all them shots can be the market for him for the next 6 to 8 months. That's all you got to say. You know why? Because a college coach, that's going to be appealing. Nobody is marketing the blocking all them shots, because every time I saw him, every single time I saw this dude play, he was blocking all them shots.
I saw him.
Every time I saw him play about 4 or 5 times. So that means you market that and let the other stuff fill in, just like I did for Javier. But unfortunately, a kid like Javier Francis did not get to. This was very important summer for him that he didn't get to take advantage of, because he was right there. He was right there.
He didn't get. You mean the COVID-19 didn't allow him to take advantage of it? It's nothing the kid did, right?
No, nothing the kid did.
Okay.
No, nothing he did.
I got
he
you.
would have had he was denied the opportunity to now come back and prove, because he hadn't done it on the 17U. Remember, he played. See, you playing sub 17U.
Okay.
When you get to the 17U circuit, it's put up or shut up based on how much hype was preceded.
Javier Francis playing sub 17U
last summer.
Oh, last summer. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So now it's time to say, okay, let's see if you can do it against the big boys. If whatever they saying you did, let's see if you can do it against the big boys.
Jimmy, I'm gonna let you. Kimberly don't understand this. I think Kimberly said Taco Falls sitting way deep on the Celtics bench, and he was a blocker. Notice what you said. Sitting on the Celtics bench, ain't but 450 of them dudes in the world. Kimberly. 450 of those players in the NBA, in the whole wide planet. Yes.
He's in the NBA.
NBA, but what y'all, you don't have, everybody don't play in the NBA.
Yeah.
Carson Edwards sat on that bench. He sat on that bench in the NBA.
Yes.
So,
and guess what? I mean, that's, it's Taco Falls guys. Taco Falls got it out the mud, man. If any player got it out that mud, he got it out the mud. he lived in, for many those y'all that know, he lived in Houston for a couple of years.
Yeah.
When he first came here, Houston was his first destination, and it's a hell of a story that goes behind him. I've watched one of those documentaries about a couple of months ago about him, talking about it. It was a hard life, man. He got out the mud, man. Those Africans, man, those international players, man, it's hard, man. A lot of those guys, man. It's almost like Derek. I don't want to use the word extortion, but it's almost like it's not slavery, but it's close for some of those kids that have come over here on I-20.
Where is Marion High School?
Marion High School is over on the Southwest Houston. That's
is it Houston? Okay, yes. I didn't even know.
Yeah. I said Doc. They pronounce it Doak. Doc. I call him Doc.
That's all right. I already knew you were gonna tear his name up.
Yeah, but he got a chance. I'm telling you, because he's 2022, Adam.
It's Javier.
Yes, Javier.
Yeah, you know his mom says Javier.
I chop the name up now. When the parent or the guardian comes to you personally and say, "Hey, his name is spelled this," then you don't play with the name no more.
Okay.
Because that means it. So remember, they came to us a year ago with JVR and asked, and they didn't say stop. They just
no.
I want to let y'all know his name is pronounced JVR. And ever since then, we've been JVR.
Jimmy, you got to give a person the benefit of doubt on that name, because that name looked like it can be spelled that and pronounced that way. But it's so. I mean, what else you got? What else you got? That's unique.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys got good questions. I mean, it's good stuff, and those matchups as promised.
I thought you weren't gonna give them to him.
No, I'm not gonna give you. I'm not gonna give you what the update is. I'm gonna give you what they would have been.
What they were. Okay. All right. Okay.
So the schedule for the season opener would have been as follows. The very first game at 9:30, right? On Saturday, November the 14th, at the Campbell Center, would have opened with a bang. I had Westfield playing Concordia Lutheran. I was gonna make people get their ass off the bed the first thing in the morning for the first time in that event. Normally I throw a dud at the beginning hour. I was opening up with a bang. Concordia Lutheran and Westfield. That was going to open it up. Then next game was going to be Manville versus Sharpstown. Sean Walker, Josh Farmer. Get it on, right? The third game at 12:30 was going to be Houston Christian versus Bel Air. Elijah Lawrence versus Noah Kahn. Get it on, right? Two guards that are Division I guards, but they needed to play against each other in a public school, in a high school setting, to sharpen their knives and to help because that'll be the signing date right around that time. And that could help both of them. The next game, which was the fourth game, was at 2:00, was going to be Hightower versus Westbury Christian. Hightower and Westbury Christian, they both had swapped, as I mentioned yesterday, swapped players in the past 2 seasons, swapped starters. Chris Felix and Aaron Williams both swapped schools, and Aaron Williams would make his debut. That would be his first game in uniform with Hightower, and it would have been kind of intriguing to see them go against the ex-players.
I like that.
And then some of the people from Hightower may have felt that Chris Felix, he might have abandoned them or deserted them, so they would see how they could manage to contain him, and he's going to try to prove to Hightower that
Chris Felix made a great decision for himself.
Yeah. So now the next game, Howard, the fifth game of the day. Like I said, these are good games, and all have a connection.
Okay.
Jack Yates was going to play in the 3:30 slot for the first time ever. They had been in the hoops in the season opener since it began. They never played that early. Jack Yates was going to get a middle of the day game on a Saturday. They were going to play Crosby.
Ooh-wee.
P.J. Haggerty and Crosby. Remember now, we saw Crosby play against Hightower in the third round of the playoffs, something like that. And Crosby.
That wasn't good.
Crosby only had like 2 seniors in that rotation. They bring virtually everybody back. Crosby
Who's
is
the
a
other little
5'8".
guard? Who's the other little guard for Crosby?
I can't remember the other guard name. I remember Elkington, and that's the white kid about 6'6", and he comes back as well. But that would have been a hell of a matchup.
Okay.
Jack Gates, because Crosby hardly ever get to play against that type of defense style, the pressing of a Jack Gates. Then Jack Gates returned Chooks is Sutual, and what's the little jumping kid? I've got the little guard that transferred from Willow Ridge that came back. Can't think of his name, but that would have been good. Now my 5 o'clock game would have been Beaumont United versus Atascocita.
They've been talking about these two guards from Beaumont United a lot.
Oh man, yes, that's Terrence Arsenault, Wesley Yates, 2 young boys, 2022 and 2023 are the classes that they're in. And Atascocita, they have the upperclassmen. Atascocita is good on paper this year. And this would have been a hell of a game.
Atascocita got my man Stewart.
They got Stewart who used to play at Crosby.
Yes.
He left Crosby and went over there.
Oh, smart move. That's another smart move. It's another good move.
So Beaumont United was going to play Now these two teams were in the same district for the last couple of years, but Beaumont United is going down to 5A. Adam. So that means that now they can play because they're not going to play each other, and it would have been a good because Beaumont United won at the buzzer when they played Atascocita last year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So so it would have been a good matchup. So next game, 6:30, was Shadow Creek and Summer Creek. The Battle of the Creeks. Both of those teams are very, very good this year on paper. Shadow Creek got a lot coming back. Summer Creek lost 2 key seniors in Ken Miles and Dylan Scales, but they have a lot coming back. I mean, they get a transfer from Port Arthur. You see?
Yeah, they're young. Yeah.
Amory Abrams. So they get little Abrams in there. So
Bryce made that boy transfer, man. They whooped him so bad out there he transferred, man.
You think that's what it was?
That's his last game. That's his last game playing with them. Yeah.
Yeah, but that game now, Shadow Creek and Summer Creek, guys, they could very well be number 1, number 2 in the preseason rankings. That matchup was going to be electric.
Okay.
And the last game of the night, in a reward, what I did basically, Aldine Davis, I always have an Aldine school that was playing. So Aldine Davis was the only one. They were playing Fulshire. And so that game was going to be the last game. That way now you don't always put the home base team playing the first game of the day. They get kind of tired of it, and people watch that because they feel like you don't like them. They don't realize that you're just putting the team in just to do them a solid. So I put Aldine Davis to play last against Fulshire so they can get that prime time feeling, even though both teams lost a lot.
So the Creeks going to battle Summer and Shadow.
Yeah.
That would have been. So we won't see
No, they
it.
still going to play. They still going to play. So now if you want to know the matchups,
you got
one of these teams is still going to play at the Campbell Center. One of these games.
Uncle kind of mad at you. Uncle said no CF ISD schools.
Get with the coaches.
What's CF, Jimmy?
Cy-Fair.
Oh, Cy-Fair. Yeah, them coach, yeah.
I had Cy Lakes on the docket, and then he must change his mind. Well, it's not happening now anyway, but that's on him. So if you Cy Lakes was one of the teams that initially had in.
Jim, I need you to explain something for Barry. Barry just said, dang, kids from Houston can transfer schools like that? They shutting that down in Austin. Okay, leave it alone. Don't worry about it.
Guys, remember the key to this transfer and stuff, and we've had several conversations on this, is just understanding the golden rule. The golden rule is you can't transfer for athletic purposes. So if you can understand that and really, and it's like a riddle within that. You can understand you can't, you're not supposed to transfer for athletic purposes. Even if you do, most people nowadays, because of social media or because of their mouth, will leak out evidence that substantiates or constitutes them actually moving for basketball purpose or athletic purposes, whatever the sport may be. That's the golden rule. So if you have no evidence or nobody that can come back as a possible witness that you said or mentioned.
But what if it's a hater, Jimmy?
That's the whole thing. But if you have the capacity and the control of your own verbiage, of your own marketing, of your own narrative, and people, as much as people cry about academics, why don't they cry on social media or Twitter and say, man, I'm getting out of this school. They got an F rating and I'm going over here because they got an A rating. Why you ain't never hear that? Why don't never do that? Why don't a parent never do that? That's all you got to do. Then the rest of the stuff will come afterwards.
Gotcha.
But because you know what you're doing now? You're leaving evidence that they can use in your favor to prove that you're not thinking about athletics. But nobody would never do that until it's too late.
Shut up. Just
can't
be
help
quiet.
themselves. Everybody can't help themselves. Cause you know where it starts at?
Where?
In them stands. In them stands.
I'm getting out of here.
Sit next. Look at damn coach. We don't know what the hell he's doing. Man, I can't wait to get my kid out of here. See, that go a witness in earshot. They heard you.
Who is Reese?
See, when you get ready to go?
Huh? Who is Reese?
Go down.
Somebody said, Kelvin said Reese the Beast. Who is Reese? Is it
Reese Allen? He's the kid at Summer Creek. I love him. He's a Draymond Green of Summer Creek. You know, on a smaller scale.
Okay.
You know, a non-pro prospect type scale. He's the role of Draymond.
Okay.
For them. I mean, trust me, this Summer Creek and Shadow Creek game, it's worth it. That game is solid.
So you're saying that game will still be played?
A lot of those games are still going to be played that I just mentioned. Of those 8 games I just mentioned, 6 of those games are still being played as is. It's just at a different location. The other 2, they simply swapped opponents and they've playing. But you can get it all in RCS Sports in the VIP news. And let me tell you something. For September the 1st, the rates in the VIP news are going to go up. And it's rightfully so. It's been $2.50 a month for 15 years. I've never went up in the price.
Never
the
adjust
VIP.
for inflation.
Never. And I'm looking at other people's stuff, and they charging $2.50 a week. So, and I know they're not updating every day. We're updating 5 days a week, consistently, 5 days a week of intel. And hell, there's other people that have went in the VIP news and got news to go on their websites and update. So we're going to go up. Have to. The market has adjusted upward. And what happens is if you stay low in the prices, then some people would not look at you as a deal. They would look at your product as cheap. See, there's a difference if your price is low and they say that's a good deal. Then there's others say, man, that's cheap. So if his product is cheap, then there's an embarrassment of supporting it, of going and utilizing it. You know? So that's the topic on that. What we got in the mailbag? You thought you were going in the mailbag?
I was. I was gonna tell you. I was gonna talk about it, but it ain't that important. We just know. We was talking about. I was gonna talk about old Woody Johnson, the New York Jets owner, Jimmy. Because guess what? You know, we got people who want to boycott. We want to boycott the NFL and all of that. And I'm just, Jimmy, now I'm kind of understanding, not understanding, but it's kind of different, Jimmy. I mean, this guy, I'm just trying to find my note. Oh, here it is. Okay, I sent you an article yesterday, and I'm gonna hit y'all with this one. Oh, Kimberly, I wanted to know who Kimberly Jackson's son played for. He played for the Houston Knights. Oh, okay, at Klein Forest. Okay, I like Klein Forest. Okay, I got you, Kim. Okay, Woody Johnson. If you haven't heard the news by now, he's the owner of the New York Jets. Woody is in serious trouble right now, Jimmy. Some allegations came against him that that could not only end his NFL career, but his political career also. Y'all got to hear this now. You might not know, besides owning the Jets, Woody Johnson is the heir to the famous Johnson & Johnson's fortune. So, Jimmy, the baby powder and all that Johnson & Johnson soap and the lotion that we'd have paid for, this the guy. We used to buy all of this stuff and Vaseline and all that. Yeah, this that Woody Johnson, his folks. Did you want to say something?
The baby powder has been under serious lawsuits, litigations. He basically shut that department down.
Yeah, but they still made a lot of money. Okay. He is also the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom, to the UK. He was appointed by you-know-who in 2017. But check this out, Rod Wells, according to a report by CNN, Jim, he is being investigated by the State Department for allegedly saying a bunch of racist and sexist things in the capacity of doing his job as an ambassador to the United States, Donald Trump's partner, and it could cost him his ownership of the Jets and ruin his political career. Now, Jimmy, one of his best players, Jamal Adams, is speaking out against Woody. Look that up, and y'all go read the article. But I'm just going to give you a little thing. Here's what they are reporting. In 2018, Jimmy, around an event for Black History Month, Woody made some comments where he asked the people, am I just coming to talk in front of a bunch of black people? This is what y'all got me doing? And then he would later went on and complain that the whole idea behind Black History Month is a sham, saying the real challenge is that black fathers don't remain with their damn families, with their families. This is Woody Johnson now. And the bigger issue, and he said, and that's what the bigger issue in the black community is right now. Kind of reinforcing that terrible negative stereotype about African Americans. Can't stand that because I know some wonderful black fathers. As far as the sexism goes, Jimmy, CNN reports that he would often hold meetings, state meetings, at this establishment called White's. Yes, Jimmy, White's.
They used to be a department store back on Jensen Drive in Fifth Ward back in the day.
Guess what, Jimmy? Which is a male-only club. So the women are not allowed to come in the club for the meeting. And this club been that way for centuries, Jimmy. And they still don't let women in to this day. But he doing political business there, but he's shutting out the female government employees who can't go in the place, Jimmy. And then he would make derogatory comments about women of terms of referring to how they look. They said, and to describe it, it was cringe. It's cringe-worthy, Jimmy. And it's just a lot of stuff he's going through. They just said basically he's a racist and a misogynistic guy. And I know you are a great parent, Patrick Punch, but the NFL did not give a comment about it. They didn't say anything. That's telling me they know it's a big deal. But hey, y'all, let me tell you, it's the New York Jets owner, and now they say he don't do the day-to-day no more. His brother run the firm. So Jimmy, is this another situation like Jerry Richardson, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, who was, forced to sell. So I just couldn't get out of here this week. When he started talking about Black History Month and started talking about black fathers, now we see why he don't like to play his black players. So that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I see you talking about Sean Jones. I forgot about Sean Jones. I said Will, but I forgot. And hold up. And my man,
Ramon Walker. I'm telling you, that's a good matchup. It's so good. Shadow Creek versus Summer Creek is worth it. Dude, this season opener was gonna blow the lid off the Campbell Center.
I just want to know when their team they're gonna play and where. So Jimmy, they're gonna play where?
I said, what about the other teams? You ain't concerned about the other teams? You just worry about that game.
Want to see that. I want to see that, Jimmy. You got to think about it. Some situations bring Andre Johnson to the game. Some situations bring Deshaun Watson and all of them guys to the game. This one might. Okay, Patrick, you're welcome. This game, his dad played for the Houston Texans. So I'm just saying, Jimmy, the other games are good, but this game right here, I want to see that game.
Well, I want to remind you is those games you can get the intel in the VIP news on rcsports.com. Okay. And we list where the modification of the updates. We released what was to be the schedule for the season opener. This schedule was actually going to be released on August the 1st. And good thing we didn't, because, then that way people have been more sad. And so a lot of teams, luckily, it worked out good because a lot of those teams are still playing each other. They embrace the matchup. That just proves that it was some compatibility in deciding to put that stuff together. And now, for those, I'm getting questions now about the Hoopsgiving Classic, which takes place the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Well, the Hoopsgiving Classic, I've already decided that we're waiting on the decision, like the UIL decision came earlier this week. And they announced that no tournaments, no showcases for their public schools. TAPS has yet to rule on their basketball. And that's the governing body for 99% of the private schools. Well, I'm not gonna say that. That's the governing body for the most of the private schools in the state of Texas. They are, from the intel that I got, the leaves on the trees. Now, this same tree now, the tree blew some good wind in. We missed it earlier, and Dodo confirmed some breaking news about University of Houston that and I hadn't even investigated it yet, but it's dug my spoon into the ground, and she proved it like, wow, coming from out the blue sky. So my leaves on the trees, my credit score, my beaker score should be pretty good. My FICA score, or whatever they call it, should be pretty doggone good right now as far as giving you news. Now, here's what I got. I'm hearing that TAPS is not likely to follow suit of the UIL and allow their teams to not play in tournaments or showcases. This is as of yesterday, and I'm hearing it from a really, really good source. If that be so, that means that the Hoopsgiving Classic, which is held at Houston Christian High School, has more than enough private schools entered this year to make a solid quadruple header. You see, so we have 8 teams. It's a matter of looking and see who don't play each other already and get some good matchups. That we had 8 games originally. This will be a 4-game card. I might take 2 more private schools, or mind you, Heather, remember, teams from Louisiana can come and play. Teams from Oklahoma or Arkansas can come and play if they public school. Just the UIL, the ones are not playing in showcases. So that's the thing. So the door is open for me probably to add 2 more teams, but we're good right now with the 8 teams we got. One of those 8 teams got 2 players on that team going to the Big 12. Well, sorry. 1 player on the team going to the SEC. Another player on that same team going to the Big 12. Coming into Houston to play in the Hoops Giving Classic. So it's going to be fire. And guess what, though? What I did, Heather, I also helped those teams already, the public schools who were playing. I've already helped them get their games, which is kind of cool. So that means
right. They was just gonna play 1 game. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So that 1 game right now that's gonna take place in Houston. I can tell you that right now. I give you this because you on the Chop Shop. San Antonio Wagner was gonna play in the Hoops Giving Classic. They're now gonna play at Shadow Creek.
Oh,
They're gonna play at Shadow Creek.
Okay.
So now I gotta convince them to play at a time so I can get over there and watch them and get back to my event. I'm not gonna probably start 4 games out.
Oh, they gonna play it the same day?
No, I mean it's a Wednesday. Now that's a Wednesday. See what happening now? Oh, I got some more breaking news from the UIL. But it would be ideal for me with those 4 games. I probably wouldn't start my first game to maybe 12 o'clock. Or 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. So they can get a 12 o'clock game. I can get over and duck and see that, get back over to Houston Christian for the start of the Hoops Giving Classic. But as far as UIL, more news. The other day, it was noted during the initial announcement that there will be no regional tournaments, right? Here's the deal. Not only will there be no regional tournaments, but each of the regional semifinals games will be treated as a regular playoff game, meaning that those 2 coaches will get to pick a neutral site. They will get to flip for home and home if they want to. They will get to request for the referees just as they do for a regular playoff game that preceded that. Also, the playoffs have customarily started on a Monday or a Tuesday. This year, the playoffs is going to start on the weekend. Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, depending on what you want to flip for. That's different, big different. And so know what that means? Why I say it's breaking news? Because that means virtually every school district in the state has to now go back and revise their district schedule. Because now the district got to end. The district got to end by 3 days earlier than you normally would have to end. This is hard. So that means a lot of teams now are going to be. This thing is hurting a lot. It's a lot of people are struggling as far as getting schedules done.
Yes, of course. But guess what, Jimmy? If I would think about the struggle. I said, man, Jimmy, it's folks struggling. Jimmy, it's 50-some million people out of jobs in America. No, excuse me. Yeah, that filed for unemployment. Almost 50 million. So guess what? Everybody's struggling around here, man. So it's a bigger fish to fry out here. But man, I got to get out of here. I got to be somewhere today. What else you got? Yeah, we didn't get. Yeah,
somebody asked. Olga asked. So per UIL, when can kids compete in high school? Hoops Classic is in November. We just talked about the Hoops Giving Classic. The high school season has not changed for the beginning.
Oh, okay.
The high school season is still the same. Now, the day that they can start practicing, I think, is pushed back to like the last week of October. I want to say October 28th or something like that. But that's the season, as far as the UIL, the start of the season is not the same. The end of the season is the state tournament. Now, how they plan to do the state tournament is going to prove to be really intriguing, because how can you separate the regional tournament 1 week before and have a state tournament with 16 teams in the same building? Of course, not at the same time, but they're in there in a progressive, they have sessions at the state tournament. But still, those are double headers. Every session is a double header. So those are 4 games. But you can 1 week before, no regional. But you can have the same format of a regional a week later at the state tournament. I can hardly wait to see how they're going to do that. Because me personally, they didn't have to. They could have just waited and see on the regional if that's the case. So it's okay not to get the COVID the week before, but you can come down there and catch the COVID at the state championship and go on back home and deal with it 14 days later. That's what it feels like to some people. And you're right. And Coach Morrow says the most important thing is vote. So keep that on your mind, guys. It's time though to. Yes, I got a meeting. Oh man, we right on time. 2 hours right.
I got one too.
And so
Jim, I got something for you though. I got something for you. I got something for all y'all. What you say? We about to do what? Check this out.
We're about to slide on down Dino's back.
Watch this,
and
Joe.
Yabba dabba do this thing for this baby Friday.
Now check this out. Watch this.
What you got?
I got Fred Frith. He sliding down Dino's back just now.
Yeah, I see him. That's what I'm talking about, man. They gonna clip the show again.
Hey, he gonna slide out on Dino. Hey, let me hit him one more time. Look at it. He slid right on down Dino's back and got the hell out of there. That's what we talking about.
Hey, and I wave from behind that. See you guys on Monday. We got a special guest, Henry Kakula. Henry Kakula is going to join us, coming back and join us on Monday. Look at what Henry sent us. Henry came out with a new book. That's the 4.0 GPA.
Do your thing, Henry.
What is college? So I'm going to read this. It just came in the mail this morning. I'm going to read this book tonight, and then I'll wipe it down, sanitize it, put some Germatize on it, Heather, and I'm going to get this book over to you so you can read it.
Oh, don't tell him I'll buy one.
No, but he's coming on Monday. We got to read the book before he comes on. That way we know what we're talking about. Okay. And that's Henry, of course, Henry Kakula, guys. Forgotten, I had it sitting right here. He's coming to join us on Monday on the Chop Shop. So anyway, guys, see you on Monday. Thanks so much for Robert Hatter. This is Jim Hicks. Make sure you share the show if you hadn't done so already. Come on now. Let's get over and also go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to our page. Thanks so much, guys. We got to get up out of here. I got meetings today. Right. Got to go get some stuff done. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Peace.
We out.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop.